Now, 15 years ago, hardly anyone had a mobile phone, but we've pretty much all got one nowadays. Although I'm not sure about you, sometimes I wish I didn't. But all these mobiles need masts for them to work, and not everyone is happy about one suddenly popping up in the garden or on their street. There are over 50,000 masts in Britain, and many more are being put up all the time. Well, the comedian Jasper Carrot is extremely concerned.
Now then, would you let your 8-year-old smoke one of these? Highly unlikely. Yet in 1950, if you said that cigarette smoking caused cancer, hey, they'd put you in a home with the flat earthists. When the evidence started to come about that cigarette smoking caused serious ill health, the tobacco companies fought like mad to subdue all the evidence. On July the 1st this year, 57 years after the first evidence started to come out, the government is introducing legislation to stop smoking in public places. 57 years later. Now then, would you let your 8-year-old use one of these? Highly likely, because they're perfectly safe, aren't they? Or are they? There is increasing global concern as to the dangers of mobile phones and people's health. And not only phones, mobile phone masts as well. Now this one is at the bottom of my garden. There's 50,000 masts in this country right now, and there's plenty more to come. And there's little or no restriction on where they are put or at the height. They can be near schools, they can be near hospitals. They're blighting the landscape, but more seriously, we don't know how dangerous these are to people's health. The one guaranteed aspect about this whole business is that the more money the government makes, the more profit mobile phone operators make, the more they say that mobile phones and mobile phone masts are safe. Strange, that, isn't it?
And from the leafy Birmingham suburbs to our studio is Jasper Carrot. Welcome to the programme.
Thank you, Jenny.
We saw that rather unsightly looking mobile phone mast there at the end of your garden. Just explain to us how easy it was for that to go up. Did you have any say at all in whether it should be there? No,
it was put up by Network Rail. And they're putting up thousands of these all over the country on railway lines with impunity. There is no restriction on where they put them or what height they are. And I found out by accident that this was going up. And according to Network Rail, and you look on their website, they want to involve the local communities on every site, which is not true. They're putting them up almost in secret. They appear overnight. And it's not just Network Rail, it's mobile phone operators are putting masts up and the public are really concerned, but there's nothing they can do.
But is there any hard evidence, hard medical evidence, that these mobile phones are harmful? Or is it just a feeling that you think there's got to be something wrong?
Well, if you go onto the internet and you start looking at all the reports that are coming through, I mean, there was a report from Benedito of 31 world-leading scientists seriously concerned about mobile phones and the masts and the emissions. There's the Freiburger appeal in Germany. 1,000 doctors in Germany have signed the Freiburger appeal saying they are seriously concerned about the health risks of mobile phones, mobile phone masts, particularly with cancer, leukemia and neurological conditions.
To a certain extent that you can find evidence for anything on the internet, really, can't you, if you look hard enough? But I just wanted to point out...
This is accredited evidence.
Well, the latest government investigation into it, chaired by Sir William Stewart, concluded there is no hard evidence at present. It did say uncertainties remain and a continued precautionary approach should be recommended.
Yes,
but there's still no hard evidence,
Jenny, because there's no research. You can only have evidence if people start researching. The government has spent £4 million on research, which is peanuts, considering they accepted £22 billion for 3G licences. And when they accept that amount of money, how can they dictate to mobile phone operators where they can put the masts up?
So are you saying that the government is deliberately playing with our health, risking our health, because it doesn't want to forego revenues, tax revenues from mobile phone operators? Is it as
I'm saying
stark as that?
the government is reluctant to find out the evidence that is out there. Now, I'm not saying that we ban mobile phones. That's not what I'm after. It's like cars. Cars kill.
Because you've got a mobile phone.
I've got a
I saw
mobile
you using
phone.
it earlier. So
Right.
how are you going to use it if we haven't got phone masts?
I've got a protection on it. But what I'm saying is that the mobile phone masts ought to be sited much more safely than they are. And until we find out whether they have an effect or not, I think we should just ease back with the rollout that's going on.
Alan, Jasper's got a point, hasn't he?
Sort of. The network rail thing is probably for an internal communications system within Network Rail.
For all their own signalling.
So you can separate that for a moment from phone operators like Vodafone and T-Mobile. I found that I've had lots of constituency cases, and by and large, they will move them after consultation. They'll do mast sharing. They do not put them near schools, and they have become increasingly cooperative in working out where they're sited. And I've had a lot of success in getting them moved where people don't want them. The other thing is there is a lot of research going on, and we have to keep a constant beady eye on whether there might, over the long term, be a danger from the radiation that is emitted either from masts or phones. And as a precaution, I never like to speak on the mobile phone for more than a couple of minutes. I just do it quickly. But I think that the combination Jasper's woven together here of a sort of conspiracy theory based on profit just goes a little bit too far to be convincing.
Gwyneth, does it? Or do you
No,
agree with
that's
Jasper's
nonsense.
point
I'm surprised
that the
at
government's being
Jasper, really.
unhelpful?
I think it is nonsense, total nonsense, because in fact the auction of the
G3 stuff, whatever it was.
G3 stuff was entirely inevitable because it now exists. It has to be sorted out. And the government has no difficulty in taking people's money and then giving them instructions. I don't know which government he's talking about.
And most operators have got the coverage in place now. Most of it's done.
All I'll say is that look at the tobacco industry, and there is a parallel there. The tobacco industry tried to submerge all the evidence that was coming out about cancer, and the government was implicit in that because they were getting taxes from tobacco. How can you turn around and say that there is no, the government are being responsible when they have £22 billion worth of money coming in from mobile phone companies? How can you say the government can then restrict where mobile phone masts go? And they are near schools, Alan. If you come to Knoll, where I live, I will show you a mast that is overlooking a school. You cannot say that.
But I bet no, I'm not saying there aren't any, but I mean, by and large...
But you did say that. You said that they are not put up near schools.
But by and large...
Final word to you, Alan.
Basically, this is down to planning. It's not the government saying masts go here, there and everywhere. If it's under 10 metres, there are not many restrictions. If they're over 10 metres, there are lots. And increasingly, they are very good at consulting local people, sharing mast. And by and large, most of the network is now complete anyway.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what our emailers make of it, who they side with. Jasper Carrot, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.